Warm Bodies. Okay, this is kind of an interesting film for me to review because it was one of those films where you go in expecting one thing but getting something else completely different. I first heard about this in March of last year. I saw a post on Tumblr talking about this, how it was a movie from a book that was from a short story, something to that effect, and that it was basically Twilight with zombies. Basically everything I hate about teen literature nowadays. And I remember thinking at the time, like, this is either going to be a complete parody, or worse, it's going to take itself completely seriously, and it's going to be a disaster, but people are going to like it anyway because of it, and it would just cement my belief that we're all, as a species, stupid. So I went into this movie completely expecting to hate it. And needless to say, that's not what happened. If you're on the fence about seeing this film because you believe that it is like a Twilight with zombies, I'm going to tell you the number one thing you have to keep in mind going in to see this. This is not a romance. It may have been marketed kind of as a romance, it may have a couple romantic elements in there, but the theme of the film is not zombie fall in love with human girl and vice versa. That's not the point of the plot. That is, I suppose you would say it's the icing on the cake, but it's not the whole cake. The plot is that a zombie outbreak has occurred. We're not entirely sure how it occurred. The movie doesn't really explain it. I don't know if the book maybe explains it, but there's no answer for why there are zombies, what's going on, any of that. All we know is that there are zombies. They're, well, more like stage 1 zombies. They're very self-aware for zombies. Like, they can work record players and, you know, do basic functions and stuff, which is kind of weird for zombies. They do have some form of speech, not much, but a little. And when they get to a point of complete despair, they turn into these skeleton zombies called bonies, or at least they call them bonies. That's the most we get in terms of the rules of the zombie world, more or less. It's at its basic core, I would say. So the big problem in the plot is that they find this human girl. Well, they come across a group of humans and they massacre basically everyone except for a couple. One being the blonde girl, whose name I completely forget right now. I really should have looked this up again before I reviewed this, but oh well, that's just what happens. And the main zombie named R, played by Nick Holt, who you may remember from Skins or from that last X-Men movie they put out, has a bit of a little zombie crush and decides to keep her safe. Acting-wise, this film is pretty good. Nick Holt is a pretty good actor. He does a good zombie. He's very good with like the non-committal shrugs and just like these little things that will make a zombie character the way it is. His best friend, whose name I also can't remember. I swear I'm not doing this unprofessionally, but I've tried to remember this name like 3 different times. He's the guy. He's been in a bunch of different movies. I think at one point he was on The Daily Show as like a regular, but I can't remember his name right now. But yeah, the best friend zombie is also one of the best parts in this entire film because he has some of the best lines. Also, the best usage, one of the best usages of the F word in a PG-13 movie you could ever find. And the girl was very good too. I remember remarking to Lynn afterwards, it's like, oh yeah, that girl kind of reminded me of Kristen Stewart. If she could act, and smiled more, and was cuter, and didn't make me want to punch a teddy bear in the face. Basically, she's nothing like Kristen Stewart. Let's go with that. Baby Franco, James Franco's little brother's in this. He doesn't last long. Most of his story is actually told through flashback. We kind of see his descent from, you know, nice, happy, fun, carefree guy to the perfect little soldier almost. And John Malkovich is in this movie, and I have the feeling the entire time in this movie he was thinking, why am I in this movie? I mean, not to say he wasn't good, but I mean, it's John Malkovich. Come on. It's a fast movie. It's only like an hour and a half long, and for what it's worth, it goes by at a fairly good pace. Like it doesn't overstay its welcome or anything. And there's some adorable moments. I mean, again, it's not a real romance. It's not like the zombie's not perving on her every single moment. I would say the real theme of the movie is not so much, you know, love makes you alive. It's just finding the will to live again. You know, like realizing that you can change, you can break out of your, what you normally, I guess, your zombie kind of lifestyle, and, you know, you can change, basically. You can live again. I think that's really the point of the movie, which I think is actually kind of a good message. It was very well executed. It was very well done, well written. So it's not like, it doesn't try to force its message down your throat. It's there, but it's not overbearing. Like, you can still enjoy it. I'm going to mention a little spoiler right here just because I thought this completely funny, and I'll put a timestamp for when you can come back and, you know, watch it again, but yeah, just letting you know. So right at the end of the movie, when R and the girl share the kiss and R is like completely alive again, Malkovich shoots him in the she's trying to protect him, and then he looks back, he's like, he's bleeding. He's bleeding. And I'm like, yeah, you shot him in the chest. What did you expect? And he's all happy, like, I'm bleeding, I'm actually bleeding. And I'm like, yeah, get a medic over here before you die again, for Christ's sakes. And everyone's like rejoicing. It's like, the zombies can come alive again. They're not completely dead. I'm like, this one's gonna die again. Somebody call the medic. Oh, that was a funny part. I will not lie. Yeah. So what we really have is a romantic comedy zombie movie that completely denounces the entire romance concept. And honestly, I don't even know if I'd really call it a comedy, considering the only really funny parts are Nick Holt's voiceovers and the best friend zombie. So really what you have is a zombie movie. Not a bad zombie movie. It's a very entertaining story, well told, well acted. I liked it better than I did Django and Les Mis, and obviously it blows the Twilight thing completely out of the water. It's a film that's very self-aware of what it is. It doesn't try to be anything more than what it is, really. You know, it knows what it is, it knows what genre it is, it knows, you know, what it is expected of it, more or less, I guess. I mean, I expected something different, but it knows more or less what audience is playing to, and so it's not gonna try to be anything different than that. So overall, I'd say this is a very worthwhile film. I would definitely recommend seeing it. I think you'll definitely enjoy it. And yeah, it's A-worthy. It's very good. And that's my opinion. This is a very short kind of review, but I think that I got basically what I needed to say. Maybe Lynn will do a follow-up, I don't know. But yeah, that's basically it. So yeah, Warm Bodies, worth a watch, I agree. I think, you know, the big worries are unfounded. I think it does very well for what it is. And yeah, that's about it. So, peace soup.
If you enjoyed this video, give it a like, a favorite, subscribe to the channel, post it on Facebook, Twitter, Tumblr, Google+, Reddit, something awful, spray paint on buildings, make a flag of it, get it tattooed in your forearm, get it branded into your forehead. This is SickSlickProductions saying keep the spirit of the movies alive.